Welcome, friends, haters, gentle lovers, and feeders. Please join me as we experience together the most bafflingly interesting person on the internet. On today's episode, Amberlynn Reid takes her ball and goes home. Okay, so yesterday I did a video reacting to her part 3 of the Q&A, and some of her behavior in that video is fascinating. And I wanted to go over a couple of things in this one, mainly her reaction to Jordy. We're going to go over the timeline and why that is so outrageously childish. We know Amberlynn is childish, but this is about as bad as I've ever seen from her. But first, before we do that, I also want to go over a small part from earlier on in the video where she talks about Alexis. Because if you haven't heard right now, Alexis is basically just turning on Amber. Because in my opinion, I think it's because she realized she can get a lot more attention by hating her than loving her. But she is coming out just full force being a hater. But in this video, she sort of comes off as, the holier than thou type of person that's like, oh, I know Alexis did wrong. She knows she did wrong. She's groveling enough and doing her penance enough that one of these days she will be blessed with my friendship again. That's kind of the way it came off. So when she recorded this, assuming the timeline is correct, she recorded this before Alexis started coming out and basically just being like, I hate this bitch, So let's see what she said about Alexis first. And if you would like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you still friends with Alexis, and can we get an update on that? We are still friends. We are not as close as we used to be. I think that I do have like a wall up, and I think she knows. Obviously, like the trust there due to the betrayal, like there's no trust there, And I think she knows that, and I think she feels bad, but I think she's being patient and she's being understanding and she's being kind and just like not forcing anything, which is what I appreciate. Like I genuinely care about Alexis and I love her and I know she feels the same for me. So I'm glad that I was able to forgive her and we were able to hang out quite a few times and like have a great time. But I think it's going to take a while before things ever get back to how they were, if they ever do.
So that is Narcissist 101, right? And now, granted, Alexis did come out and basically just, leak all the tea on Amber. But the fact that instead of Amber going, hey, this girl sucks, I'm not going to be her friend anymore, it's as long as she kisses my ass enough, then at that point we can be friends again. But she has to do the work to make sure that she's worthy of my friendship. So that's just Narcissist 101. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go over her response to the question, which there's a 0% chance that somebody else asked this question. And I'll explain why in a minute. But she responds to a question about Jordy. So, but first let's go over the timeline and how we got here, right? Step 1, the cookie crumble cookie video was leaked.
I've seen the cookie crumble cookie video. So it became a meme. It became a thing. So I said, you know what? Loud and proud. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm confident in it.
Now, does that sound like somebody who's being violated and upset that something got leaked? No. So that seemed pretty fishy. So people started looking into it, and it turned out that it came from an account known to be associated with Emily. The general consensus is that Amber knew that was going to happen, right? We're all pretty sure that Amber knew that this was going to leak, and she immediately came out and blamed Erica. It was just like it was rehearsed, right? It was leak, Erica did it, so everybody hate Erica, that kind of thing. Step 2 is people started doing the research and found out it was Emily, and Amber seems to go into kind of panic mode and starts posting on her community tab, which I went over that in another video, but she acts like she's going to get her lawyers involved and crap like that. But Jordy does a stream where he basically is going over why we're pretty sure it was Emily and basically just clearing Erica's name and defending Erica. And Amber loses her mind, goes into his chat and just won't stop calling him names and just being a general turd. So she goes into his chat and she's basically saying stuff like this. You stay biased, you stay negative, and you stay lying. If anyone needs help, it's you. Thou doth protest too much, Now, this is a double whammy. This is still her thinking that Alexis is going to be her friend. But this is in Jordy's chat. She says, the tomatoes mean nothing to me. And I think Jordy had said something about like, you're coming into my chat, you know, you're getting all the tomatoes, like thrown at her, you know. Alexis didn't want to send you the video, but you asked for it. That's sick. I really don't think Jordy would have said, hey, if you've got a sex tape of Amberlynn Reid, please send it to me. Maybe. I mean, it's still tea. Regardless of what it is, it's still tea. So, I don't know, maybe. But still, she's going nuts in his chat. And then she starts going in on his appearance. You need some sun. She keeps saying he lives in his mom's basement and stuff like that. And then she starts saying, the only reason I ever watch your content is because you're lying about me all the time, which is just obviously not true. She just loves to know what people are saying about her and can't help but respond, hence this. So she just keeps bothering Jordy in his chat, and she gets blocked.
Okay, all right, she's gone. Amberlynn is hashtag blocked. Blocked. Amberlynn's final words in my chat. You are literally dense. Dense was capitalized. And money hungry, so you feed off the drama. Well, Amberlynn, I will say, I think that based on what we have seen on the past year with your influence on the internet, there is only one person being fed, and that's you, hun.
So if the timeline is correct, and if, you know, she says that she pre-recorded this, when she recorded this, it would have been right after she got blocked in Jordy's chat. So let's keep that in mind when she responds to what somebody asked her, which what happened was she got blocked. She was so mad because she had consequences to her actions, right? And she just sat there like, how can I get back at Jordy? I'm so angry at Jordy. I got to do something because she's a bully, right? She needed to get back at him. So the whole entire Q&A may have just been for this moment, but she for sure was like, you know what? I'm going to ask myself about Jordy so I can just go ham on him and I'll teach him to block me in his chat. So that's what's happening here. So let's listen to what she says.
If you could ask Jordy one single question and have him answer honestly and without bias or trying to impress his audience, what question would you ask him?
Yeah, an Am Baby asked that. An Am Baby really thought that through and was like, I want to know what Amber would say about this. No.
Honestly, there's a lot. I have a whole interview I could give him. Trust. Jordy, hello. I know you're watching. I know you're watching by yourself first, and then you like to watch again while you're reacting, which is weird because why can't you just watch the first time during your reaction?
Isn't that funny how, so she has been going crazy in his chat. She gets blocked and she stews on that for a little while thinking, what can I say about Jordy? What can I do? I'm going to ask myself a question about him. And so that's what's happening here. She's saying to him, why can't you just react? Do you have to think about it for a while? Like, girl, you stewed on this for like probably a whole night. You probably didn't sleep all night thinking about what you were going to say to Jordy.
Is it because you have to think of things to say and to complain about and to nitpick and all the little fat jokes you make? Is that what it is? You have to like ponder that while you're playing your little World of Warcraft in your mom's basement? Don't answer that because that's not the question. My question is, you say that you want, the best for me. You want me to go on semaglutide and lose the weight. You say that you're just a reaction channel and you're reacting to just, me as a person. And supposedly I'm just not a good person.
Supposedly. Do you think she knows it's not supposedly? Anyway, so again, the smug is even worse when you realize that it's because she basically just got dumped by Jordy. For some reason, she's been obsessed with Jordy since he came on the scene. The smugness takes a whole new meaning and a whole new level of infuriating when you think about the fact that this is a response to being blocked, probably hours ago, right?
And all that, but what makes you better? Every 1 minute or 2 minutes, you have a fat joke. A very mean fat joke. You are fatphobic and you're fat shaming and your audience eggs it on. What makes you any better than me? You're actively making fun of someone's weight, size, and body for money, for monetization gain. But yet I'm the bad person. I know you're gonna have a rebuttal. I know you're gonna manipulate your audience.
That right there is what it all comes down to. The whole response can be summed up with that little, I know you're going to manipulate your audience. Like, she really thinks she's doing something here, but this is about as childish as I have ever seen her. This is wild.
But either way, if you were just reacting, like, why is it okay to be fatphobic while doing so? Is that because that's all you have? Because I'm not as shitty as you really thought I was, and my life isn't as dramatic as you want it to be?
And what does that even mean? Like, she says, I'm not as shitty as you thought I was. First of all, compared to what? But also, like, what information would he have gotten recently that would convince him that you're not as shitty as you've always been, if not worse, right? She's like, I mean, you just found out that I'm just so great that all you can do is talk about my weight. Like, no, you're still a shitty person. You always have been, and so far we can tell you probably always will be. So what a weird thing to say. Like, no, he talks mostly about how shitty you are.
So the only thing you have is, like, every other minute making fun of my body and my weight and my size and my issues? That's pretty fucking pathetic if you ask me.
Every other minute, even if that were true, that means that the minutes in between are all spent talking about how shitty you are as a person. But generally, from what I've noticed in Jordy's chat or Jordy's streams, it's the chat tend to make fat jokes, and he just sort of is like, oh, and what he'll do is he'll do a sarcastic, like, oh, that was not very nice, you know, kind of. He doesn't really try to stop it, but he's not the one doing it.
And I think it's time you go outside and get a little bit of sun. You're looking a little pale. All right, you guys.
And then the smug look at the end. Oh my God. So, and I love how she says, you need to go outside. You need to do something. All you do is sit in your mom's basement. Girl, what do you do? Lego? And that's pretty much it. And according to her, apparently scrapbooking, which I don't buy that for a second. But anyway, all of this was just to really hit home the idea that she just portrayed herself as the biggest baby that she may have ever done in her entire YouTube life. She's the bully that got kind of her comeuppance and cannot handle it. And so she thought, I'm going to get him back, and I'm going to come online and I'm going to say what I think about him. And she thinks the internet's going to be like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, Amber, mic drop. You know, like, no, girl, this isn't it. I promise this did not work the way you thought it was going to. Wow, this was fascinating. So anyway, you guys take care. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.